Welcome to the Intentional Excellence Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. I'm a keynote speaker, host of this podcast, host of Love Speaks Live, and host of Love Speaks Out in the community. Today, we're continuing with our special series called Built to Build, the CEO series. And the series is all about leaders, visionaries, and builders. Those who take what they've endured, what they've learned, and what they've dreamed of and turn it into something that impacts lives. Our guest today is Reverend Sydney Francis, and her journey is one of both deep valleys and incredible transformation. Reverend Sydney Francis is a trauma informed spiritual healer. She's an educator and author who helps people transform emotional pain into spiritual purpose. A self described wounded healer. Her path was shaped by early loss and deep personal trauma, including the death of her father at age 10, sexual assault in her teens, and a near death car accident that led to a profound spiritual awakening. Sydney's professional journey began in 1990s, working with some of the most mentally ill teenagers in Massachusetts. These young people, wards of the state, who had endured severe sexual and physical abuse, struggled with basic life skills, and had little hope for independent living. Witnessing how traditional approaches often relied on medication without addressing the root cause, their unresolved trauma sparked Sydney's lifelong commitment to finding deeper, soul level solutions for healing. She holds Masters of Fine Art in Interdisciplinary Art, a Master of Theology, and a Masters of Healing Arts. She is also a certified NBP or Neurobilateral Processing trauma healer. And over the decades, she has blended spiritual practices, energy work, trauma healing, and creative expression to help others release the burdens of their past and reclaim their inner light. And in 2024, Sydney published Activating Lunar Alchemy, the mystical art of transmuting your emotional pain into spiritual abundance, which explores moon based ritual as a tool for emotional transformation and soul growth. And today, her mission is to empower others to heal the soul wounds that block their potential, embrace their spiritual gifts, and live with purpose, freedom, and joy. And to my followers, please help me welcome Reverend Sydney Francis to the show. Hi, Sydney.
Hi, Candice. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
As I was reading or I was sharing to the viewers our bio, I can't help myself. I feel that I'm going to learn so much from you, from your experiences, from your strength, from your skills, and I just want to first say thank you for being part of my show to begin with. I am always in I love connecting with my guests, and I just want to share with our viewers that even I have canceled maybe 3 times this podcast with Sydney, but it didn't matter. I knew the day would come that we would finally meet, and I felt your presence from the moment that we were interacting on the internet. And she actually really reached out and prayed for my mom because during that time my mom passed away. So please, I want to take this opportunity to really thank you for being so kind, for being so thoughtful, and for just sharing your light to me. Thank you, Sydney, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Candice. You've got me tearing up, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh,
You're
thank
so
you.
welcome.
And I just finished a live show like 30 minutes before
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one, and I honored my mom. So
Well,
I'm a little still like emotional, but
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Do you want to share anything else before we
However,
start?
no, nothing else. But that's really sweet of you. Thank you for the
Thank
lovely.
you. And also, my podcast channel is global. So let's share with everybody where we're podcasting from. I am in Florida, in America. Where are you podcasting from? Where are you
I
coming from, Sydney?
I am coming from Sedona, Arizona, in America as well.
All
Yes.
right. How's the weather there? Do you already feel the fall season?
The weather shifted from really hot to nice and warm. So actually, I think this is like October is my favorite month here.
Me too.
It's like in the 80s and it's crisp and the mornings are cold, but the days are comfortable and it's a really pretty time to be here.
What do
Yeah.
you see the leaves changing colors already?
Yeah, we've got some leaves, not getting orange yet, but like yellow, like they're changing a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
I lived longer in New York, like 20 something years, where, the fall foliage is simply breathtaking. But now I'm in Florida for 3 years, and unfortunately, we don't have that
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really, really miss. That, like you, that's my fall is my favorite season, especially
Yeah.
October, early November, when like you really see the changing. So I'm
Yeah.
jealous of you.
Yeah, especially in New York or in New England where you get such beautiful colors. Yeah,
I
wow.
know. It's like you're driving in the highway and all you see is that beautiful scenery. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like when I
Yeah.
tell you it's like picture perfect. Like I just want to take a moment and like
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. So it's really pretty here too. Not maybe that vibrant, but very beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, well, Sydney, your journey is nothing short of powerful. Like you endured loss and trauma to becoming a healer, educator, and author. You've walked through deep valleys and turned them into path of light for others. And I'm so excited to dive into your story today and explore how your own transformation has shaped the way you guide others into their healing. So let's begin. Let's talk about your inspiration, Sydney. I believe that every great calling starts with a moment that changes everything. Sydney, your early experiences of loss, trauma, and even a near death accident led you to this unique path as a healer and teacher. What was the moment or series of moments that inspired you to dedicate your life to trauma informed spiritual healing?
Okay. There was a couple moments and they happened close together in my life. You mentioned that, in my teens or I had experienced the sexual assault and some rapes. And by the time I was 20, I graduated from college when I was 20, and I had a job where my supervisor sexually harassed me. And anyway, I got in a car accident that I would say was an awakening. It was a moment where I felt really helpless because I'd had experienced so much victimization, especially in terms of being a female and the sexual assault, that I just felt so helpless. And this car accident, interestingly, was like a turning point moment for me. I would say an awakening, like a spiritual awakening. And that's when I look back, I think that was like, I know it doesn't make sense because it was a tragedy, but it was also this moment where like I felt guided that I could actually change and that my life wouldn't always be feeling victimized and helpless. And shortly after that, I decided to start studying energy healing, and I also got a job in mental health, working with teens with the sexual and physical abuse. And those kind of all came together where I was like, I don't know if I remember thinking that I didn't want people to keep suffering the trauma that they had experienced and have to live with that pain their whole life. So after working with the teens that you mentioned in Massachusetts, I was like, I have to at least look for a solution, because at the time, they were getting the best care they could get, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a
Yeah.
great treatment, and the medication, but it wasn't able to really, I would say, transform or transmute, actually heal the traumatic patterns. And so that's what I've studied both in graduate school and in energy healing, how to like transmute those traumatic patterns and integrate them so that they're no longer causing the PTSD or whatever, the CPTSD. Yeah.
So there's so many reflection with what you just shared. I work in a school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And mostly elementary, but I did have experience working with middle schoolers, which is, that age. And
Yeah.
sometimes, although it's really hard to understand middle schoolers, they're fun, they're active. You don't know what they go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And the school that I worked at with the middle schoolers are a Title I school. We're in, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, because they're
Mhm.
also like, they come to the country in the middle of the year. Sometimes you don't know, they come in so hyperactive, so excited, and all of a sudden they'll just come to school just like feeling withdrawn, or like they have their hood up. Like, you don't know what goes on with
Yeah.
these kids. There was
Yeah.
one there was one boy that he's just quiet. He's just there. And when I asked him about like his day, he's like, I really don't want to be here. He said, I said, why are you here? Like, I just want to stay away from my dad. Like, I'm here because I don't want to be with my dad, something like that. So that there's something going on at
Yeah.
home. He didn't want to be in school, but at the same time, he uttered how he has having difficulties with his dad. So, but he was there. That was his safe place. Like, the
Yeah.
school was his safe place. I knew he wanted to kind of be away from home. I knew there was something going on. So I feel that any student that I come across might be a silent Sydney, someone who is going through something. It could be like what you said, trauma with an abuse, or maybe something, abandonment. There's so many issues that these teens are experiencing.
Yes.
Now, during your time when you experienced this, did you ever tell anyone, Sydney? What was your
Mm.
safe spot? Like, what made you like move on or go ahead with life knowing that these things were happening to you?
That's interesting. I mean, I felt safe in school. Interesting that you've brought that up. I did feel safe in school. I don't
Okay.
remember really talking to that many people. I mean, I was an only child, I was raised an only child, and I, my mom really struggled because of her own history. She was born in World War II and
Okay.
had some abandonment situations, and she really did not want me to grieve for my dad when I was a kid. So
Okay.
actually, I went to college at 16, and I might not have realized it consciously, but I went 3,000 miles away from home, and I felt like at least I could be with other peers and feel like able to be like process on my own, if you will. I don't really remember having anybody to go to. I just remember
Right.
being like, at least I can take care of myself now. So,
That was tough living alone at that age, because
yeah,
I still have my 18 and 19-year-old living with me right now. So
yeah.
must be tough leaving home. Was that something that you wanted, or something that's common in your family, that at a certain age, go on your own? Was it a choice? Was it a personal choice for
It
you?
was a choice. I was actually really excited when I learned about this school, and I thought, oh, I'm going to start college at 16, and I was pretty happy to go. So I guess
Wow.
there's a little bit of an adventure in me. Yeah.
You and I have the same something in common. I also lost my dad when I was, I think, 11 years old, and you were
Oh,
10. So,
yeah.
like, it changes us. Like, no
Yeah.
matter how young we are, and we say that we're not really deeply affected because we're young, we are affected, because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
always like your family unit is incomplete. Like, it will never be the same. No
Yeah.
matter how much my mom tried. Like, my mom raised 7 kids after she got widowed. And
Wow.
like, that's why I was oh my god, I'm just so emotional right now, because like I just finished honoring her in my live show. So my
Yeah.
point is, as a child, like me also growing up without a dad, it I was strong. I considered myself a strong person.
Yeah.
But there's always something, like when there's an event, a school event, like a dad event. Nobody was there for me during my wedding. A dad wasn't there for me, or I mean, confirmation. So that feeling of something, right?
I know exactly what you mean. Like all those moments that you have, but or even at Father's Day, sometimes it's so
Yes.
weird, to like, oh, like I feel a little disconnected from it. Yeah, yeah. But there are those moments you go through your life.
And
Yeah.
I for someone who went through the sexual abuse as 18, is there like even a simple message that you can share with teens or even mothers of teens who might be going through something like that, like I know my reach is not the teens, right? I don't think
Yeah.
any teen would be
Yeah.
watching my show, but maybe for the parents, like what can you
Hmm.
share with them on how to, like, even like find those red flags, like anything that you want to share from someone who
Right.
went through something like that.
Okay, I would say, our generation, I mean, making assumptions about it, but I
Yeah.
would say our generation's different than my mom's. Like, if you can listen to your teens and be supportive of them. I mean, they may not be able to come to you, depending on your situation, but support them to ask for help. Like you just had no, asked me. Like I didn't really have any help, but I didn't also even think to ask for help. Like I just was used to doing things, processing things on my own and in isolation, and so kids these days, whether it's sexual or not, this is a really hard time for kids.
Yes.
They have
Yes.
their own family things, but also just the world right now. I know that, our teens, we have four teenagers, and they're at home, and, they have both parents, they all have both parents, and it's still hard for them as they process all that's going on in the world and all the
Yes.
fear and change. So, yeah, if you can be there and be supportive or help them find somebody that they can talk to, maybe another parent or a family friend,
Yes.
or,
Right.
they could really use that support, I think.
And I like that you're supporting, like, in your journey, part of your journey now is supporting teens. Are you still supporting those teens in Massachusetts, or was that like a phase in your life?
That was a phase in my life.
Okay.
I haven't
Yeah.
worked, I mean, I used to work in education too. I
Okay.
got out of mental health and went into education and was a
Wow.
school teacher. So, and I taught art, which interestingly was a very, like you said about creating a safe space. Like
Yeah.
I always had teenagers who loved art and loved the creativity. And
But you were an art teacher?
yeah, I was an art teacher.
Oh,
Yes.
I always
So,
love art teacher. I love music teacher, art teacher. You just bring, like, school nowadays are tough when it comes to
yeah,
curriculum, with all the testing, with all the expectations. So
yeah,
when my students go to their specials, which is either art, special, PE and music, they are just so happy. Like,
they're
they
so
look
happy.
forward to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
want
and
to thank
it's
you.
such a good way to process. I mean, you can't, it allows you to express yourself and process things. And
Right.
so, yeah, or music or PE, those are all wonderful. But art, I know I've, so many students that I've had have told me how important that art time is to them. So,
And you know what I love also, Sydney, is that I may have students who are struggling academically, but they excel in their creative expression in
mm,
art. And
hmm,
you just imagine if you were in their place, wherein you're not that, sometimes they do know that, they lack those abilities and stuff like that. They're not scoring high, or their grades are low. But when they are being appreciated in art, oh my God, like the feeling of, like, at least there's a part of them that they know they can be proud of. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's truly
yes,
important to have that part in school, wherein it's not just academics, that you're really building the confidence of the child, not just academically, but creatively as well. Right?
yes, yes. And I'm not against I mean, I'm definitely for academics, but I also think,
Yes.
one of the main skills that people are looking, in the workforce now is creativity. And
Yes.
I mean, that's a really important skill to have, to be able to think creatively and, you know, and create your own life, right? I
Right.
mean, a lot of my life is a testament to just being creative, like being like, I'm going to do this and figure it out.
There's so much. Your life is just a lot of like just really deep, deep reflection. You did say, before we move on to the next question, you did mention that it's kind of strange, Candice, how my car accident led me to this realization, right? This
Mhm.
awakening in you. But you know what? It happened to me too. Like my husband passed away 2 years ago,
Oh,
and his passing, I call it a beautiful death, Sydney, because
Mhm.
it opened my me finding my true self. Like all of a sudden, because he's been sick forever. Like he's been sick, a heart problem when when we met. So for years, he's been sick. So when he passed away, I kind of, during our marriage, I kind of lost myself. Of course, you know what I mean? Because I was playing dual roles because he
Yeah,
wasn't really like, that active when it comes to, because of his limitations. So when he passed away, I was like looking at myself in the mirror, Sydney, and I'm like, I didn't like what I was seeing. I felt like unmotivated, exhausted, tired. So that's when I felt I needed a change. If I am to be 100% for my kids and myself, I need to improve myself first. So that's
yeah,
when I went into this healing. I didn't go to work for a year. I went inward and really found myself. I found my
yeah,
worth, Sydney, and I had a career change. So all this that I'm doing, it
yeah.
happened after the death of my husband. So when you say
Wow.
those defining moments can actually become your defining moment, your
Yeah,
awakening moment. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think a lot of times, um, well, it's in psychology that's called post-traumatic growth, but a lot of times,
Okay.
I mean, that's one area of that's called. A lot of times, I think our crisis or our traumatic experience can be that, transformed into that, like you say, awakening or opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing now and that you found that inner self. And tragedy, even though we don't want to experience it, can often lead us to that inner place, where we find a deeper truth or deeper meaning or deeper purpose within ourselves. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That's a beautiful way of saying it. Um, let's talk about, Sydney, your journey and challenges. Because
Okay.
whenever I come up with series, I usually come up with series and I invite 10 guests. Always, whatever series it is, I always ask them about their struggles and challenges because that's
Okay.
part of my podcast is being resilient. I believe that behind every healer's work is a personal story of resilience. Now, you've faced deep personal struggles while also holding space for others' pain. So, what have been some of your biggest challenges in your journey, both personally and in building your practice? And maybe if you can share, how did you find the strength to keep moving forward?
Okay. I would say, I've had some external challenges like I got a divorce and
Okay.
and it was a single mom for a
Yeah.
while. Although and everybody faces those things and about the past challenges, but
Hmm.
I would say most of the challenges for me that were the harder ones were the internal challenges.
Okay.
I I gave a presentation on, for example, I gave a presentation on imposter syndrome this morning, and I was raised to be a high achiever and be in academics and and imposter syndrome, is people have perfectionism, fears
Yes.
that they won't be perfect, and shame and self-doubt and fear of being seen. And I would say over the years, once I'm determined to do so, like I said about creativity, I can get an idea, I think because I learned to be an artist and be
Okay.
like, how am I going to put it together? So I use my creativity to create the situation, the things that I want to build in my life. But the challenges are really, I would say, emotional, like
Okay.
fear or self-doubt,
Okay.
shame, self-worth issues. Like I had, coming out of the loss of my dad plus the, sexual assaults, I would say my self-esteem was really low in my 20s. Over
Right.
the years, a lot of my own healing process was healing some of that early childhood trauma. And then when you own a business, or you have a program or a business, there's constant like overcoming as you reach new plateaus in your business or new
Yeah.
growth. You're constantly having to overcome, like,
Yes.
okay, I'm afraid of being seen, or I'm afraid of, you know, so it's like, I would, and learn, okay, so I want to say it's learning to take that
Mm-hmm.
and kind of realize, okay, this is part of the growth process, that these fears are going to come up, or something, self-doubt is going to come up, and know that that's going to happen. And then almost I've learned to use it as fuel. Like when I hit that
Yes.
point, it's like, oh, this is the moment that I'm actually growing, because I'm feeling this now. And kind of change my mindset about it. Instead of being upset that I'm feeling it, be excited that, like, I'm on this, the edge of this growth and transformation.
I've so like I started this podcast maybe a year and a half ago, and I have about almost 70 episodes. And one thing that I realize is the most amazing, strong, powerful guests that I have are those who went through the tough times in their life, the challenges, the defeats, and who are openly speaking about it. And that's what I call resilience. Like I feel that like it's just there's something about those people who are able to admit that they had self-doubt, that they had poor self-confidence or negative self-value, like just owning it and admitting them kind of lets me know that they're willing to grow. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
feel like if you're still stuck in this mentality we're in, you know, you can't admit your mistakes, or you can't admit like you're still egotistic and not accept and not admit that hey, there might be something wrong with me, or there's might be something that I'm doing correctly or incorrectly. It's harder to change. It's harder to really find your genuine self if you're still so hung up with like meeting the expectations of other people, pleasing other people. But when
yeah,
you come to that point in your life wherein, hey, I made a mistake, that's okay. I came up with this business, the first 30 days it didn't work out. Guess what? It's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. Like I'm not perfect. Not everything's gonna go the right way immediately. I feel that that's more growth than anything else, right?
yes, yes, definitely.
So,
Yeah, and being open, like you said, if you're, and I wanted to use, I mean, as a healer, maybe I want to use the pain that I've gone through to help others. That's really important to me, to be
right.
like, okay, I don't want you to feel that self-doubt is going to hold you back, or shame or trauma,
Right.
right? I want you to believe in yourself and keep going and keep putting yourself out there. So I think that's important too.
And I think more and more people now are watching podcasts, or they go on social media, and what like really gets their attention sometimes are those vulnerable moments when people share
Mm,
about their life experiences. Like if their tears, if their sincerity in what they're saying, their content, I think people nowadays are more drawn to it because I guess people nowadays want assurance that hey, I'm not alone. I'm feeling the same way she's feeling. And I don't
yeah,
have to go to a doctor to get some immediate answer or immediate feedback. Like I can actually watch this podcast, something that resonates with me, and say that, hey, that's my life too. And you know what I mean?
yeah,
So sometimes it's you and I are the ones that are changing the world because we're sharing the deepest parts of us. And
yeah.
and and our goal is really to inspire others so that they don't have to go through what we're going through, right?
Right, right. Inspire others and inspire them to know that maybe they will have stuff come up, but like to keep giving their, right, to keep giving their gifts, keep giving their light, keep contributing in whatever way, leading certain, people. It's all hands on deck right now, right? In the world. The
Yes,
world's hard
yes.
right now. We all, whoever you are, you're needed. And whatever you can give is needed right now in the
And I
world.
feel that when you speak, let's say you have your own platform, you will have your own community because of like your experiences. And I now what I'm glad, like what I'm happy about is I'm starting to build my own community
Oh,
in 2 years. Just those
yeah.
people who probably like I don't even like everything that my followers are organic. Like I don't even do sponsor. It's like they just in a way you inspire them, like I'm starting to build a community, whether men, women, or professionals, young professionals. So it's because of they're resonating with what with you and your life's lesson. So I think really us talking about what we go through in life really is so powerful nowadays, right?
Yes, very powerful. Yes.
And I found that in those, let me like sum up like this what we shared, that in those hardest seasons, that resilience is forged and our vision gets clearer. And like you, I've discovered that
Mm,
strength often comes not from avoiding challenges, but by walking through them with intention. Like when you finally said, like, you know what I mean, let go of your the negative beliefs and stuff, that's when you start really being intentional and you start the growth, right?
yes, definitely. Yeah.
Now let's talk about, Sydney, the work and your impact, your work and its impact. So healing work often ripples far beyond the individual, Sydney. Sydney, can you share more about the heart of your work today? I mean, Reverend Sydney, sorry.
Okay.
Your
Oh, that's fine.
book,
No, you don't have to call me Reverend. I mean,
your
um,
book, your trauma healing practice, and your spiritual guidance. And how have you seen it transform the lives of the people that you serve? And maybe before you share that, tell us, what do you actually do? And like, what is your work about?
I do a couple different things right now.
Mhm.
I have a class on Mondays that I call Soul Gardening, which is
Mm-hmm.
related to my book. It's about the moon rituals, and
Okay.
which is really a practice of like self-reflection, I would say, but it's the timing is with the moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And I also I do some one-on-one healing work with people, trauma healing with either the neurobilateral processing, or sometimes people come to me in person for energy healing. And um, I'm also working on I'm actually launching an app this week that's for other spiritual
Wait, you
practitioners.
have your own app?
Yes, yes, I have my own app called Worthy to Thrive, and it's for, I would say, other people like me who are really working on putting the healing out there, the
Okay.
spiritual practice out there, and that it's really more about working on that internal
Mhm.
self, the resilience, and developing, the strength, the self belief, changing our feelings about, you know, the fear into courage and stuff like that. Anyway, I think you asked me about the impact too. I've seen, I predominantly work with women, although I'm open to working with men.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are, maybe because I was a school teacher, a lot of the
Uh-huh.
people I work with are teachers,
Okay.
educators, and many of them have had similar histories of loss, either loss of a parent or significant other or family member. Um, and I would say the success they have is, like you said, transforming the pain into purpose.
Mm-hmm.
One of my, students, she has written a couple books since we started work together. She created an
Wow.
Oracle deck, and she's doing readings with her work, and she's putting these, she just published another book of poetry, but doing these interactive art shows. And I just see her, flourishing in her life. And she said that she came to me, she was on antidepressants and then was able
Okay.
to get off of them. So, that's, she was doing other therapeutic work as well, but
Right.
um, she's really flourishing in her life and putting herself out there and putting our creativity out there. And then, you know, so I help people work with maybe patterns that keep coming up, like repeating
Okay.
patterns that are often maybe traumatic patterns from something that happened in their early childhood. Usually, that's usually kind of where the root is, right? Yeah, yeah.
Now, you did mention about, did you talk about energy? You did mention about energy, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
there are some people who are still not fully aware of what energy does. Like, do we have energy? Like, how are we, like, how are some energy healers utilizing their energy healing system? Like, what is it with energy that makes it, that makes your work or what you do for us in order to turn that transformation into purpose and pain? Like, what about energy? Like, talk to us more about,
Okay,
do
okay.
we have energy?
That's
You know what I mean? Like, what
that's
is it?
cool. Yeah. Well, I think we have energy. You know, we
Okay.
are an electromagnet. You know, we are
Yes.
an electromagnetic field, right? If even if you don't maybe believe that there's an aura, it has been measured. And you know, even if you just say we have a nervous system, right? Our nervous system is an electromagnetic system, and um, we have each of us has an you know, energy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I do believe it's tapped into our soul and our personality, but there's
Yeah.
also like the physical energy that's, you know, in our in our body
Yeah.
and around.
Yes.
And so I was trained to, you know, run energy up through my legs and out my hands, and sort of like a faucet, if you will, like trying to
Okay.
run like just a greater amount of energy into the body to um, the physical body's really amazing. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
able to put energy into it, this happens like if you exercise, right? When you
Right.
exercise, your body takes in more energy, and when you are if you have an illness, the energy will go to the place that it's needed. Your body will put it. I mean, I've learned how to do certain techniques on
Right.
illness, but you know, the body's actually quite wise itself. It'll send the energy where it needs to go. And even if you aren't able to run energy, just like hugging someone or touching them
Yes.
is helpful,
Yes.
is it helps them because we're constantly exchanging energy through to one another. So um is have I I want
Oh
to give you
yeah. No,
like in,
I
yeah,
I am a big believer also of like that we
yeah,
have a certain energy in our system, in our body, that we keep or then we emit to others, because
mhm,
I feel that like I said, I have a lot of guests, right? And like sometimes even in the exchange prior to the podcast, I've had guests who are in, even during the exchange of like information, we are like just so excited and everything. Like I can feel someone's
yeah,
energy without even meeting that person. And there
yeah,
was this person, she was a lawyer in California that I interviewed. She was just so, the moment I started giving her like my information or like send me this, she was like, I can this, like I can feel your energy. I feel like I've known you just for simply like exchanging.
mm,
So as soon as when we opened the camera, it felt like we knew each other already. Like
mm,
we felt each other's energy. And I am a believer that you can feel it. Doesn't, you don't have to be physically present to like emit that energy. You just have, like what you said, aura. I believe in aura. I believe in stuff
yeah,
like that, because you know what, um rather than taking medications, I'd rather believe in me having that aura. Like, you know what I mean? It's something that you
yeah,
don't need anything like chemical. Like, it's just something in you. So you can
yeah,
either change your energy, share your energy, or like there's like, if you know it's something that it's in you, you can actually change it and make
yes,
it
yes,
work for you, right?
yes, yeah, it's powerful. And yeah, I mean, I would say the best thing you can one of the best things you can do for yourself is exercise, right? Because that's
Yes.
actually drawing energy into your body and helping you feel better and helping you be more healthy. If you don't want to go to a healer, just continue to walk and exercise, and because the body's already designed to draw in energy,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
I feel that there's nothing wrong with asking for different alternatives, right? Like nowadays, it doesn't. I'm sorry, like it doesn't have to be just a doctor. Like there's so many different kinds of coaches now, healers, and just have an open mindset. You know what I mean? It's like if you want change in your life or you really want to be healed, sometimes just be open. Just be open. It could be a conversation, watching a podcast, going to a healer, going to a coach, but the important thing is you're asking for help or you're collaborating with someone. When you come to a point wherein you really can't understand yourself or you really want change, sometimes it's okay to ask for help. And whatever works for you, just have an open mindset, right? That's how
Yeah.
I view.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I think asking for help is really important, right?
Right.
Believing that you deserve help and then asking for help, either from God, if you will, or from
Right.
someone else. Like ask for help, definitely.
And now that you talk about the energy, I just want to like give another as side, not comment, like something that I believe in. Attract, be with the people that you want the same energy. Like if you want to improve yourself, don't hang out with people with like really low vibration or just very like toxic or very negative or very like just mean, unkind. That's also the reason why I talk about
Mhm.
love in my live show. Love for yourself, love for others, and global compassion is because again with that energy, like if you want growth in you, you have to let go of people that don't serve you anymore, people that just bring you down, that whenever, like, they could be a family member or a good friend, but if they're so negative about life, about themselves, how are you gonna grow if you know what I mean, their energy is being transmitted to you? So that's one thing I realize about energy. If you want change or if you want to improve yourself, you really have to be surrounded by positivity.
Yes.
Very, very powerful, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Having your own mindset, and then I agree. I think who you're around makes a big difference, and making right. It's like I say, it's a challenging world right now, and so we kind of
Yes.
have to just stay positive just to get by
Right.
day to day, but also that contributes to other people, right? When we're positive and um, radiating a good energy, a high vibration, then that helps others around us too.
Is it
Yeah.
bad that during my healing, Sydney, I let go of a lot of people? It's like it came to a point wherein they were just bringing me down, and like if you're my friend, if we can both change or help each other like become better individuals separately, then it's worth being friends. But if your toxicity is so ingrained and you're just influencing my healing, I'm sorry. I can love you from afar, or I can respect you from afar, you know what I mean? Like I feel that I really let go of a lot of people for the past
Yeah.
years because they weren't helping me heal as a person.
Yeah.
That's what
I don't
that's
think
why
that's a bad thing. I think that's important to do. I think it's important to protect your own energy and really, keep keep your own integrity, because if that
right.
was affecting you or wasn't supporting you, I think you kind
And
of have to
hopefully,
keep
yeah,
going
and
on.
hopefully
Yeah.
when you are that healed already, then you shine bright for them and hopefully they can see your light and have that change in them as well, right? Like if both of
Yes.
you are so, still like work needs to be done and the two of you, it's just not going to help each both of you if like you're both into this negativity. So you got to
Yeah.
heal first and like let go of those people that are really just not helping you grow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Because I know that you have a purpose and a vision.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it's important to keep that positive mindset and
Yes.
strength, right? And keep going, right? Rather than get kind of
Yes.
stuck in
Dragged into.
right. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you, Sydney. Sydney, let's talk about the unique edge and your future vision. Every
Okay.
healer brings a unique medicine to the world. You blend theology, creative expression, trauma work, and spirituality in a way that's truly distinctive. Sydney, what makes your approach different, and where do you see your work growing in the next few years?
What makes my work different?
Yeah.
I guess I would say the trauma healing work, I've learned about how the energy field works,
Mhm.
and my teacher did a study at UCLA that measured energy. They put electrodes on the body and they measured the aura and the color of the aura, and um, they could tell that they measured a phenomenon called the DC field effect, which is a
Okay.
direct current shift. So when your body gets filled with enough energy, the aura will kind of expand and do something like a little bit like a supernova. It'll kind of like send off a big
Wait, is that in a good way or in a bad way? Like you're
good way.
saying,
Well,
okay,
it can be good or bad. So when you have
okay,
a traumatic experience, your aura does the same thing. It has this like DC field effect. And what happens in a trauma is if you're not able to deal with it, I don't like my car accident, I went into shock. If you're not emotionally able to deal with it,
mm-hmm.
that trauma will be stored in your aura or in your body until a time where you can deal with it. But the
Okay,
DC field effect, when you're getting a healing, it can basically, um, when you're running energy and create that effect, it can allow the trauma to um, like release and then
okay,
process.
yeah, okay,
So um, you can actually, it's a frequency thing. So if you hit the same frequency and amplitude of the traumatic experience, you can create this DC field effect and allow the trauma to release, and then that allows the person to remember it and integrate it. And so I guess what I think that's something different. I've been working with training other healers to do the
mm-hmm.
run the energy and work in healing teams to create this DC field effect so that the trauma can be released and basically, I guess I would say, discharged from the body.
Mm-hmm.
Because right, if you have a traumatic experience that you
Mm-hmm.
haven't been able to process yet, it just basically stays there until you
Yeah,
have that high enough energy to deal with it. And so that's an area where I think there needs to be, I'd like to do more research and more
okay,
study and see gather evidence of the success rate, because I know that's different than what's being done. I do neurobilateral processing, which is more of a psychological healing technique of processing the traumatic memories. But and then the future work that I'm doing is I'm working right now to establish a nonprofit
okay,
for doing this. I guess I would call it a ministry. The
okay,
nonprofit in my mind is like a church, but with
okay,
a spiritual community. I would say an interfaith community,
mm-hmm.
and and also this ministry for trauma healing, because I think that work is so many people have experienced trauma in their life, and that to me is really important to have some kind of modality that helps
Yes,
people transmute the trauma and recover from it and be able to not keep going on the post-traumatic
right.
looping, that trauma often, brings to people.
Well, I see
So
that.
that's
Yeah.
future. Yeah, go ahead.
I truly see the importance of what you're trying to do, because like so much of who you are right now is based
Mm,
from your trauma, your your childhood wounds, and if there's no modality or there's no way for you to like release it, you're right, like it limits you from becoming your true self or for finding your authenticity, right? So nowadays it's,
Yeah.
and like people sometimes use that reason to explain why they are who they are right now, like, oh, because like, I experienced this before, or I was like that before, like when I was a child. Like sometimes, like, it really gets ingrained if you don't find it in your heart to release it, and it's hard for other people. Like I don't think, like, I consider myself, I'm pretty, I know myself so much that even like I go through challenges all the time, right? I kind of know
Yeah.
myself now on how to use it to fuel me and not to bring me down, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
like I'm strong enough. I'm in that stage in my life where, in, like I said, whatever I've been through, like I just become better and better each day because I learn from it. But for others it's hard,
Yes.
right? So there's really a
Yes.
need for that thing so that you can finally release. And isn't it like a relief if you can finally like let go of those things, right? It's probably like, if it,
Yes.
right?
I think so. I think it's a relief. I mean, I've had um, clients who remembered something they, had this healing experience in this team healing, remembered something that they didn't remember,
Wow.
and they were able to, finally process it and integrate it. And
And
so rather than being kind of, I think trauma is really tricky. Sometimes we know we've had trauma, but a lot of traumas we have forgotten about them, right? They're kind of
yes.
like buried in our
Yeah.
psyche. And I think that's really challenging to people because they don't actually know that, you know what I mean? That it's
Well,
there.
especially you, like just
Yeah.
sharing your life story. You went through so much. Imagine if you didn't heal or grow from these things that that happened to you when you were younger. Like
Yeah.
just imagine that. So at least like you are
Wow.
actually using it now to empower others. Like you work with these teens in Massachusetts, or you're now supporting women, because of what you went through. So like I hope that people who go through stuff like this will find an avenue to like use it to inspire others. Like mine is speaking. I speak and share my challenges. Like I really do, because I feel like if one person will resonate with your story and learn from it, then I'm
Hmm.
happy. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So I
It's
like that.
important.
And what you said is such a powerful perspective. I found that in my own work, that when you blend different worlds, whether it's you and I, education, speaking, or media, it really creates
Hmm.
something much more impactful than staying in one lane. So your
Hmm.
ability to weave together spirituality, trauma healing, and creativity is what makes your message so alive, Sydney. And I believe that the future belongs to leaders who are unafraid to really bring all of who they are to the table. And you're modeling that beautifully. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, this is every guest that I have, whether in my live show or my community show, I always ask this last question. I believe that every leader leaves us with a light to carry. If you could leave like a message, a quote, or a topic just to our audience, just to like, let them know that, hey, I learned this from, just to remember you by, I learned this from Sydney. Like, this is like something that I took away from her podcast. What would that be, Sydney?
Okay. Thank you. I really love this question, Candace. I think I thought about different. I think about different things, but I think one thing is, or one thing that really helped me in hindsight is that because I really wanted to help others or serve others with the trauma healing, it's
Mm-hmm.
unlocked my own healing, right? I didn't
Yes.
start studying energy healing for my own healing journey. But what happened, because I did care about other people and the suffering they were going through, that's what's allowed me to to have so much growth. So if I guess what I'm saying is, you know, you shared your experience of tapping into what your purpose is, we talked about earlier, people need you right now, whatever it is. If you can teach people to read, or you can, you know, make food at, you know, your local church, or, you know,
Right.
whatever it is that you can contribute right now that relieves, that brings comfort or relieves pain and suffering, whether it's sharing your story or doing art with teenagers, all of
Yeah.
that's really valuable right now. So I would say, if you focus on helping bring
Others.
comfort and relief to others, that will open the doors of your own healing and your own growth and your own, I mean, I guess I would say life fulfillment.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not all about you. You know what I mean? I feel
Yeah.
um like you have, once you found your true genuine self and you reach your highest potential, sometimes share it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you'll be your best self if you're able now to like inspire others, because like, I'm at a point in my life, Sydney, wherein I really love myself. I think I found my value,
Mm.
I found my self-worth, and I found, and that's because of my resilience, just using everything that happened to me to fuel me and to power me. And now I'm at the point wherein I can't contain it. Like, I have so much um, life experiences, so much love, and so much thing that I'm gonna explode if I don't share it. And I feel that
Yes.
I love connection so much. Like, I could be connecting with my own family, with a community. I just really sharing a part of you has become my purpose. And I found strength now by doing that. Like, it's not all about me anymore. Like, when I show up on my social media every day, Sydney, just like what you said, um, that's me now. Like, that's me finding power, like sharing.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's what I took from what your message is. You know what I mean? Just
Oh, yes. I
sharing, like
think
what
it's
you said.
wonderful. It's so inspiring. Yeah.
And I don't filter, not that I don't filter. If I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm cooking, like I show up authentically, me. And I'm not perfect, I have imperfections, and I don't care. I really don't care. I feel that
Yeah.
people need to accept you for who you are, and I've accepted myself for who I am, so I don't need to show up um not authentic, or just not being myself. Like, I show up as me, and I think that's how
Yes.
I'm resonating with other people.
I think so. And I love that you mentioned the self-love, that you love yourself and you're gonna, you know, you're filled with so much that you're gonna burst. I love that.
And like, as a teacher, teach your children, the students, your own kids, your family members, to have self-love, and it as young as possible, you know what I mean? Just show
Possible.
them that
Yeah.
they can love themselves. Like, if your students like are first graders, if you can teach them to love themselves right away, imagine the growth. Imagine growing up with that positivity. That's why teachers are such great role models, because we have the
Mm.
power to inspire the young generation. So, right? Just
Yes.
imagine how beautiful the world is if you teach kindness, love at such an early age. I
Hmm.
don't know. I'm just full of
Yes.
love right now. Like, I just like,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
love it. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Especially
Powerful. Yes.
nowadays, the world is so chaotic, right? You just want to like,
Yes,
come on, be
yes.
nice, be nice. All right. So
Totally.
yeah, right. So um, I just want to say thank you. And like what you just shared, it's just so many things that I know a lot of viewers will resonate with. Like, it could be like what we said, like you shared so many things of you that I know will have touched a lot of people. Now, before we move on, before we wrap up, how can the viewers find you? Do you want to share your website, or like exactly how can they reach you?
Okay. Yeah, my website's good. My website is
Hmm.
www.soulgardener, S-O-U-L, Gardener,
Okay.
GARDENER.me. And I believe my email and phone number are on there too. So if you want to
Okay.
just contact me, you're welcome to contact me. So thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
yeah, and then when I share this, I'm actually gonna be like, before I post this, I'll be asking you all the links to your social handle, media handles, or your website, so that they can directly, because I share this in multiple social media platforms, so at least they can directly
Oh,
contact you. Okay, and then let's collaborate, like so I can share whatever work you have also on my page. All right.
okay, yes, yes, definitely, yes. I would love to collaborate with you. I've loved getting to know you. Yes.
Wait, quick question. When you said you wanted, before I end, before that ministry that you want to build, is that something virtual, or you actually want an in-person community? I wanted to ask that. I forgot to ask
Oh,
you when you were
that's a
sharing
good
it.
question. Okay, so the reason I'm building the app is for more of a virtual community, like if it's around the world, but
Okay.
for like supporting one another. But I
Okay.
actually, the ministry of energy healing, or trauma healing, that one I see doing in person, because
Okay.
I've been training hands-on healers to do this team healing
Okay.
work. But what I see is working with other healers. I know other healers from around the country and around the world, and they,
Okay.
maybe doing it where they come from somewhere a couple times a year or something like that. Trying to, I'm working on figuring out the details of how to make that all work, because people are, all, like you say, we've got global community now. So
Yes. Well,
yeah.
is your app ready to be shared already, in the current moment? Like, is your app ready?
Well, I'm ready to. I've got to accept like a founding member group, so it's not quite
Okay.
ready for the. It's kind of in the beta launch stage,
Okay.
I
All
would
right.
say. Yeah.
Well, watch out for
So,
it. The
but in the
viewers, watch out for it.
meantime,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm
yes,
excited.
exactly.
I'm excited to share
Thank you.
that. All
Thank
right.
you.
So again, Sydney, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being so kind to me during my lowest moment when my mom passed away. You really reached out to me, and I appreciate that. Um,
No.
and to our viewers and listeners, I want to thank you for being with us for this episode of the Intentional Excellence Podcast and our series, Built to Build, the CEO series. Sydney, before I wrap up, any parting words or anything else that you want to say before I close the show?
Um, I want to say thank you to you, Candace, and thank you to your viewers. I've really like this has been a really pleasure to speak to you and get to go deep with you. So thank you.
You're welcome, and it's my pleasure to have you here. And again, if you want to reach out to me, my website is CandiceRuggiero.com. My social media handles is Linktree/Candice Ruggiero. And remember, leadership is not about control, it's about courage. It's about showing up with intentionality, creating space for others to grow, and turning even our pain into purpose. Because when we lead with intention, we leave a legacy of excellence that goes far beyond ourselves. So until the next time, keep leading, keep healing, and keep living with intentional excellence. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Sydney. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.